Okay, so now that I've started to shade the buildings and what I want to stand out the most with pen, I'm going to switch to the pencil. And like I said earlier, the pencil is not really the way to draw. It's just a way to add shading towards the end. So to draw the sky, I'm going to use a 4B, which is in between very dark and in between kind of light. So doing the same motion of the 45 or 30-degree angle, I'll start to lay out where I want this clouds to be. And as you can see, I'm holding the pencil very far back towards the point. So I'll just keep a tight line and bring it across the page. And it's this is probably the part where you have to be patient, because clouds, they don't have an edge. There's no beginning, no real end. It's just about the white space that's left over on the page. So I'm just going to build up the background with these horizontal lines. And you kind of have to use your imagination, because clouds are always moving while you're outside. You're just kind of highlighting a dimension on the drawing. So sometimes I like to exaggerate and make life a little unrealistic, but you can also use the clouds as a way to make your drawing punch a little bit more. So I'm going to build this up even more. And then when I get closer to the building, get a little darker. Because when you have that contrast, it's going to help things stand out a little bit more. Maybe there's some more clouds up here. And I push on the pencil to bring more a heavy tone to where I want it to show more definition of the cloud. All right. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I feel comfortable with how things are starting to show up on the building. As you can see, I'm getting darker once I hit closer to the building, just to add more of an emphasis. All right, so that's laying out the shade, and then sometimes you want to just go back and add some line work. Not too much, but just enough to kind of show the hint of the cloud. Not really thinking about details. You just want to spread the same even type of texture along the whole page. All right, so that's starting to look great. I use the pencil again to emphasize the sidewalk and the road. So I'm just going to do some light strokes of 45 again. And I go closer where I want it to be dark, and further apart where I don't really want to show too much shadow. Okay, closer here. And let's see, maybe a little bit in the tree. And then the foreground buildings, I don't want them to show up too much, but I don't want them just to be white blocks either, so I'm just going to add some shading there. And then when you're looking in space, usually in perspective, what's further away is going to be darker. So I'm going to add some horizontal lines for shading where the street is. And same technique, the closer the lines are, the more shading, and then the further away you separate them, you're going to want to bring them towards the front. So say that again, the closer lines are going to be in the background, and then the lines that are further apart are going to be in the foreground. And if you want to bring your T-square back for a little bit just to get some more emphasis on the horizon, you can do that too. But I try not to because it starts to add an element of rigidity. So, okay, so now that I've laid most of the shadows out, I'm gonna just do some final touches on the buildings here.